weather. Thank you for coming out, seriously. This is awesome. It's my first year here, and are you guys feeling good or what? It's shining in your heart, right? There might be clouds, but the sun is shining in your heart, right? Come on! I feel good lately. I swear, I feel so good. Man, life just gets better every year. I've been getting my life together with the Lord for 8 years now, and I'm telling you, this is the best year yet. I see so much just joy and peace, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I thought I got high before. This is like, you know, you have bad days, but I'm telling you, it's like when you're walking with the creator of the universe, it's like nothing that can compare to it. Nothing compares at all. 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago, exactly to the day, I was totally consumed with drugs and alcohol and actually making money. I was making tons of it. In real estate and in music, I was making tons of money, but I was an empty shell walking around. I had no depth to me. I had no joy in me. All I had was these addictions. The addictions were music and money and drugs and alcohol, and I did everything. About 10 years ago exactly, I was addicted to crystal meth. I would do anything. I had these 2 dealers. I had one in Hollywood. I had one in Bakersfield, California. And one of the guys in Bakersfield was like hooked up with a Mexican mafia. So I'd go, they had these like businesses that they ran, but they were kind of fronts for the drug thing. And I got with this guy and he took me down there, you know, after hours, and there's just all this drug stuff going on. And it was scary, but I knew the guy, so I was like, you know, I think I'll be all right. But you hear stories, you know. There's a lot of TV shows out there, a lot of channels, and you watch those crazy crime shows and stuff goes down, you know. And I was like, oh man, I hope I don't end up like putting cement blocks or something, you know, because they know I got money. They know I'm in a band. I came from the band Korn. I was in the band Korn 10 years ago. And so I was making all kinds of money, you know, and just wanting to get high, wanting to get, really, I was so miserable and uncomfortable in my own skin. You know, a lot of my life growing up, especially, I felt ugly. I felt like not good enough, you know, and I just wanted to wear a mask, you know. I wanted to wear a mask, so I pretended to be someone else that I really wasn't, because I didn't like who I was. So I got wasted. I started drinking around 15 years old, and it escalated to, you know, crystal meth. And pills. I was addicted to Xanax every day. I would take crystal and do it during the day, and because I had such big concerts, I didn't want to play too bad, so I would take Xanax to get some sleep before the next day and the next show. So I was mixing these uppers and downers every day. It was crazy. But yeah, I'll go back to the Mexican mafia stuff. It was just, you know, you think you're like the hot shot of everything, and you're just like an idiot, you know, and that's what I was. But it all came from, you know, just being that empty person. And it's just crazy the things you do. You know, I would have my dealers, like, I took my drugs all over the world, and when I was on tour, you know, I was just like doing stuff that I normally wouldn't do, because my parents brought me up to be, you know, a good person. My parents are still together to this day. My friends used to call my mom Mrs. Brady, because she was just like, "Hi, do you guys want something to eat?" You know, she was just really sweet and all that. But so I felt bad, you know. Here I'm having my dealer like send me drugs to Europe, you know, because I ran out of drugs. I could get popped, thrown in jail in Europe, you know. And I was like, you know, and it did get me scared. So when I had that 2-year addiction to meth, I was like, I got to change, man. I had my daughter, and she was 6 years old. I was a single dad at the time, and so I had to get clean. And I tried, after a tour with Korn, I went to this outpatient rehab place, and I was like, "Doc, you got to get me off my drugs." He's like, "It's okay. Well, you know, don't worry. I've had a lot of success here." And, you know, a lot of actors and musicians who was in Hollywood, they go to this guy because it's real incognito, and it was like, he took the dirtiest of the dirty and, you know, drug users that were in the entertainment industry. So I went, and he's like, He's like, what are you addicted to? And I go, oh, it's crystal meth. And I looked at his face, and he's like, he put his head down, and I was like, what? He goes, well, we mainly deal with like, cocaine and pills and stuff like that. But I got to tell you, I haven't had a lot of luck with crystal meth users. And I was like, oh, my hope was in this doctor. I was like, this guy's going to help me. And he's like, and he shot everything down when he said he hasn't had a lot of, so, I'm like, so what now? And he's like, well, we could try, that's, I guess you get really depressed when you come off that stuff, and you get anxiety, so I can give you some pills. So he's like helping other people get off pills, but he's prescribing me pills to get off the street drugs. So I was just like, oh, man, I already take pills, all right, give me something. So if I quit the meth, maybe I could quit the pills later. I'll just do one at a time. So he gave me these pills, and I went and I didn't do meth for like a day, and I finally got tired and I crashed. And the next day I woke up and I just felt like I wanted a straitjacket, and I wanted to be put in a room, and I was going crazy. So I just dove back to my drugs right away. So I just went on another bender. Like it was like, I don't know, it was months after that. I was like, I tried to get clean, and I was like, I'm never gonna get off this stuff. I'm never gonna get off it. I'm gonna be like this forever. Like, what am I gonna do? The only thing I can do is lock myself and go to a rehab place and say, lock me up. But I was being in the entertainment industry, and on drugs, and especially speed, you're all tweaked out, you think everyone like wants a piece of you, all this. And so I didn't really want to go into a place like that, but that was my only option. But that gave me crazy anxiety, so I was just trapped. And but it's funny how God works, because remember I told you I was in real estate? Well, the real estate guys were Christians, and they didn't look like Christians that I thought, because I watched The Simpsons and stuff. I thought it was like Ned Flanders. I had nothing about Christians. I just thought Christians were those nice people, were like, hey brother, God bless you, Oakley dokley. They don't drink, cuss, or smoke, and so, but, I might have thought they were boring or something, or they were goodies, but the Christians were sober, and they seemed to be happy. So I was like, I'll go anywhere. I just want to get off drugs. That's all I want. I'll go hang around with the sober Christian people. Don't drink, cuss, or smoke. They might think I'm the devil because I'm in corn, but whatever works. So, but these guys that I met they didn't look like that at all either. One of the guys built monster trucks. Like, he builds these crazy trucks. He's so good that they don't let him in competitions no more because he wins every time. So they had to outlaw him so he was just like not the typical Ned Flanders guy, So I was like, yeah, I'll go to church with you. Inside, I'm like, he doesn't know about my meth addiction, and I'm gonna go to church. I don't know, I just need some positive message. Maybe somebody there can help me. So I get there, and it's a trip, because I didn't think, last time I was in church, I was in an Episcopal church, and it felt like I was in a funeral. Everybody was like, Mom, 5 years old, Mom, can I have it? Shh. Everyone was, you go and eat the stale bread, and you're like that. And it was scary. Like, those churches were kind of scary when I was a kid. I was like, I don't want to feel like a funeral. What kid wants to be at a place like that? So, but I went to this church, and I was on drugs when I went, because I did drugs every day. That's what I did. And so I get there, and like they're playing worship, and this song Majesty was on, and all these people are just like closing their eyes, got their hands raised and all this, and I was like, what do they look, what's up there, And I was like, wait, I guess they're really believing this God stuff. Like, I thought they were just good people, but and then I saw these other guys, they're like, yeah, they're like talking each other's ear real loud, and I asked my friend, what's going on? Why is he mad at him? He's like, no, he's praying for him. And I was like, what? All right here in front of everybody? I had no clue, I'm telling you. And then he's like, yeah, man. And so I was just tripping out, and I was like, wow. And I felt this feeling there, And I just felt that now I know it was the Spirit of the Lord. But then the pastor came out, and he was just this dude. He just looked like a normal guy. He had jeans on. It wasn't all like, I was like, wow. Who's this? They let the janitor up. He's just a normal looking guy. I thought preachers had to be like all in suits and all this stuff. He's like, how you guys doing, man? He starts talking about God. And then I'm like, wow, I love what he had to say. And then he was like, he was like, I used to be an alcoholic, and I used to beat on my wife. And one time I threw her against the wall, and she left me. And I got down on my knees, and I cried out to Jesus. I said, Jesus, I'll give you my life if you make my life better, if you put everything back together. Because I guess he grew up in church, and he walked away from it, but he was finally ready to surrender. But after he said he was an alcoholic and he used to beat him, I was like, how do you get this job? I thought preachers had to be like, oh, you know what I mean? I had no clue. I had no grid for understanding how Jesus saves the lost, all that. I didn't know nothing really about it. I had heard stuff when I was a kid, but I started to learn like this stuff. And when he got up there, and he was like, man, he totally transformed my life. Gee, when I called out to Jesus after I hurt my wife that time, he's changed my life. He put everything back together, my marriage, everything. And a few years after that, I started a church with 10 people. And now he's preaching, he's got 10,000 members. And I'm just like, listening to this going, and he goes, you don't got to do anything for God except hang out with him. He wants to start a relationship with you. You don't have to fix yourself. He'll fix you. You can take all your stuff, all your garbage in your life, take it to God and ask him to help you, and read the Bible and talk to other Christians. Go to church. Your life will never be the same. And I was like, you know me, the crystal meth addict, I'm like, that's all I got to do is like bring my stuff to God. So I received Christ that day. I raised my hand and I went home and I brought my crystal meth to God. I was like, because I'm still snorting this stuff. I was addicted, and I was in my closet. I had the lines lined out, and I was like, I meant it though. I said, Jesus, if you're real like that guy said, you got to take this stuff from me or I'm going to end up dead. My daughter's out there in the other room. She's going to end up without a father. I'm mixing these drugs every day, whatever. You know, I prayed like I had been a Christian my whole life. Basically, that guy taught me what to do. I went home and did it because I was that desperate. And man, I'm telling you, I snorted the line after I prayed even, and I was just waiting there, and a few minutes later my phone rings, and I was all tweaked out so I didn't answer the phone. The phone's and I was like, I don't answer phones tweaked out. So the answer machine answers it, and it's like, hey Brian, this is Doug, bro. Hey, I heard you came to my church. Man, God is so good, bro. We gotta hook up and talk. I haven't seen this guy in 10 years. He was in the room the first time I tried crystal meth. So I prayed, and then this guy calls me saying how God's so good, and he's touching his life, and I'm just like, is that how this works? You pray, and then people like reach out to you? I was like tripping out. I felt like Twilight Zone. So, you know, I ended up hooking up with this guy, going to church more, and you know, I got clean for a couple days actually. You remember that time I tried to quit? Well, I felt like I could actually do it because this guy quit, and I was talking to these people, and I started feeling okay. And one night I went to the church, and that same guy Doug told me, he goes, hey bro, I feel like you need to clean out your house, like some old stuff. I feel like God's telling me that you need to do that. And I was like, all right. So I went home and I just went through all my stuff, and I looked at a first aid kit I had in my room, and I opened the first aid kit for some reason, and out fell 8-ball of crystal meth. And I was like, I dove into it. I felt so bad. I was like, man, I was going on the right track, and I snorted it again, and I went up. But the weird thing I felt really guilty. But I tried to put my Bible away and put it in the drawer and shut the drawer. Like God couldn't see me. I don't know, I was tweaked out. But I was like, I felt convicted. I felt like I was getting, how do I say it? I was getting bombarded with positive thoughts. Ever since I started that church, I started having positive thoughts. And they were like, your whole life's gonna change. You're never gonna do drugs again. This isn't for you anymore. Your whole life's gonna get better. How many more lines can you do before you're satisfied? How many more beers can you drink? How many more this and that? You know what I mean? And so I couldn't get away from these good things. And it was God just surrounding me with his goodness and his love. So, but I went on this last binge for like 5 more days, and I remember I was sitting one night, I got my Bible out on the last day I did the drugs, and I was just going, how do I know this is real though? They're talking about God and all this, but how do I know this is truly real? Like, you know, and right then I felt like something from the spiritual world, I felt like it was just God's Spirit came around me, and I just felt accepted. I felt forgiven. I don't know what else to tell you besides the revelation of Jesus was so real, and his love for me and his forgiveness. And I felt like he just was lifting out a hand saying, come on, walk with me. And the feeling came and it kind of went away. And I just remember looking up like I was home, like I was home after years and years of chasing the dollar, chasing the fame, chasing the drugs, the party, all that stuff, that I finally felt satisfied in that feeling. And when the feeling left, I wanted to chase it. I wanted to chase him. So the next morning, I got all my drugs, the last bit, and I threw them in the toilet, and I took pictures of myself throwing them in the toilet. I was done. I haven't touched the stuff since. I haven't drank. I haven't done drugs. I've been on this journey. How much time? 10 minutes? Okay. I have a habit of going over sometimes, because when I start talking about the Lord, I get really happy. And yeah, it's the best ever. But so I did. I just lost everything, and I started reading the Bible like crazy. Like I was addicted to this feeling of being satisfied. You know how many people are unsatisfied with life? Try having every dream you ever had come true, and you're living it, and still being unsatisfied. So when I felt that satisfied feeling, I was like, I'm going after it. I want that feel. I want you, God. I want, like, how come that feeling comes and goes? So I start reading the Bible. I'm learning about Jesus, and he's saying, like the disciples said, you know, leave everything and follow me. You know, he tells the disciples, and I was like, I want to leave everything and follow you, Jesus. So I left my band. We were doing a deal with Sony Music, and Korn ended up getting like $23 million or some signing deal. And it wasn't Sony, it was some other label, but who cares? But we were on Sony before that. But so they got 23 million. I had to say no to that, because if I signed my name, that means I was going to tour for 2 years, basically not be home at all. And I was just like, I didn't even care. I wanted to follow God. I don't want money to be my God anymore. So I left the whole thing, and I just hung out with my daughter. And she was young. She's here today. She's like 15. She just turned 15. She's doing awesome. I love that girl. But back then she was 6, you know, and her grandma was taking her to school because her mom's been out of her picture, out of her life, you know, in and out a little bit. So when I told her, hey, Janae, I'm gonna quit school. Hi. Sorry, I go on these rabbit trails. I got brain farts or whatever. But Janae, I'm gonna quit Korn, and I'm gonna be with you, taking you to school every day. Your dad's gonna be. She just lit up. She's like, you know, because all the kids are probably asking her, like, where's your mommy and daddy, you know? And so just to see her face lit up, that was worth more than any of that money I could have made with Korn, you know? And ever since then, I've just been walking with the Lord, living with my kid, you know, going through this thing. And the crazy thing is, it is an up and down thing with the Lord. It's like, he took me personally through the most difficult things I could ever go through, emotionally and physically, through, like, you know, the money thing. I went through the money test. I was like, God, give me more faith. My money grew wings and flew away. And I'm like, God, what am I going to do with women? Where are you? Where are you? Are you busy in China? Come back here. I need some help. And yeah, I lost everything. In 2009, I lost my house. I lost my car, and it had 22-inch rims. Come on, guys. We love our cars. So I was like, dang, I was thumbing through the Bible looking for something. And I land on a verse, if you have food and clothing, be content with that. I'm like, dang it! I'm broke, what am I gonna do? And I just felt the Lord saying, follow me, I'll show you. And so I ended up getting this apartment. I had fat houses, and here I was in an apartment, and I was like, okay, Lord, that's humble stuff, right? Okay, I'll be humble, I'm going to the park. But it doesn't have a garage, Lord, I gotta park where everybody else does. All right, okay, I'll do it. So he took me on this journey. You know, it's funny how good the Lord is. I liked that apartment better than I liked my house before that. I loved how it felt inside, and I got to talk to some people. My friends lived downstairs, so I actually liked it. So I went through tests like that. I went through a lot of emotional stuff, you guys. Like, you know, one of his names is called the Great Physician, and spiritually, he'll restore your soul, but he's got to gut some stuff out. Like a pumpkin on Halloween, you know what I mean? He just he rips in there, guts that stuff out, and you're a basket case sometimes. But it is supernatural, and he is your father. He's your true father in heaven. And if you believe and invite him in, he'll do surgery on your soul. And so, yeah, I went through that, and every time I went through like some horrible emotional stuff, it's like he was showing me, you're going through that stuff because every time you go through something difficult, it brings the impurities of your soul to the surface, and then you deal with it, and then we wipe them away, and they're not there no more. So all that fear of losing my house and thinking God wouldn't be there for me, I got through that, and now I'm stronger than I ever have been. All the emotional stuff, every trial, even nowadays trials, it's like every year I'm getting more peace and more peace. There's a scripture, what is it? Oh, dang it, I gotta learn the word more. But it's in Hebrews, I think it's Hebrews 10, where it says that a father, you know, what father doesn't discipline his son? I don't know the scripture exactly, but after you have been disciplined by God in his trials and his ways, there'll be a harvest of righteousness and peace for all those who've been trained by it. And I'm telling you, I got a harvest of righteousness and peace. Like, it flows like a river inside of me. Like, there could be stuff going on the outside, all this crazy stuff, and I could be walking through all these difficulties, but inside there's a calm ocean like that nobody can, it's just calm in there. You know, and I won't freak out over stuff anymore. And it's not perfect though, but every year I'm getting better and better. And man, I'm telling you, if there's anybody here that doesn't believe in God, I'm telling you, you gotta give this a chance. This is the realest thing I've ever done, and it's so beautiful. So hard at times, but it's so worth it. I'm telling you, it's so worth it. And my story is not better than anybody's here. You know, we're all the same. And if there's Christians here that you're just, you know, you call yourself a Christian and you love Jesus, but you're not just going to that place. If your soul is not transformed yet into that peace, God has that for you. If he could do that to a speed junkie, and I'm walking with so much peace in my life, if you're having a hard time freaking out over even money or stuff like that, you know, earthly stuff, then you're not finding that transformed soul that Jesus died to give you. Because he died to give us salvation, heaven, but he died to give us healing in our souls and in our bodies, you know. And so I just encourage you guys just to go for all of it. Go for all of it. And you mind, can I pray over you guys real quick? Awesome. Lord, I just pray for everybody here. I pray for the spirit of courage just to come in to everybody. I know some people are shy. Lord, I went to the church, Jesus, all paranoid because I was on crystal meth, Lord. And I just forced myself and I did it. I believe you gave me the courage there and you have transformed my life. Lord, I pray for these people out here. Maybe there's some people just going through like a breakup, Lord, and they're just really depressed. Maybe there is a depression or suicidal thoughts or addictions. Lord, I pray for everybody here. Give them the courage today to reach out to you and to talk to people here, Lord. That's why we're here. That's why we do this. This is what life is about. We're not called here and on the earth to be miserable, Lord. We're called to have abundant life. So I pray that you would give each and every person here abundant life, Lord. And I thank you for allowing me to come in their area and to share my story of what you did. Lord, I'm rough around the edges, but you are perfect and you put yourself in me. And everything about me that's good is you, Jesus. I declare that and I know that 100%. And I love you and thank you so much for everything. Amen. So you guys, I want to tell you real quick, right by I'm sorry, what was it? The fountain. Go by the fountain. There's people that you can connect with. You get prayer. If you want to get help, like you got to reach out like I did when I went to that church, you know? And they're there to help you. If you guys would rather, I know you're a digital generation, just like I love it, I know you love it. If you text 313131 and put the word remedy, you can text people and they can get in conversation about you, about faith or whatever, you know, any help you need, you can text people too. So again, that is 313131, type the word remedy, and get this conversation going. Life is too short. You're not here to be miserable on the earth. You're here to walk with a smile you know, and you got to take the steps to get there. And don't expect no fast food results. You can have glimpses of what you're gonna get. There's like, it's like you climb on a mountaintop, it's all sunny, and then it's all dark and gloomy, and then it's like, you know, you got to go through a process to get to this place where you feel it. Like it took me 8 years, and I'm feeling it mostly now, and it's awesome. But you will have glimpses along the way, and if you don't make the step now, you know, you're never gonna get there. So just do anything you got to do to get to that place, because there's nothing like it. I tried everything in the world. I had money. I ran out of stuff to buy because I was just like, I was bored with spending. It doesn't matter how much money you get. It doesn't matter. It's just, it's you connecting with eternal Father in heaven and Jesus Christ, his Son. That's what life's about. I'm telling you, I've lived it to the fullest, and I hope you find it too. So thank you guys very much.